to Liberia, where the drums still play my song. Take me back to my homeland. It's the place where I belong.
LIB Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.
And busy. I missed everyone. I haven't been able to come in on Friday, so I wanted to jump on today on Tuesday. Hope everyone has been good. We haven't been doing our catch-ups, but I've been watching the news, keeping up with everything that has been going on. Today, I'm wearing my New York Knicks or Nowhere hat. I don't know if you have been watching basketball, but my team is the New York Knicks. We won the World Championships. We had you shaking your head. You've been paying attention to the Knicks?
Not really. I'm not. Yeah, but congratulations anyway. I'm not. I mean, like a fan or follower of basketball, but I do follow at times. But congratulations.
This was a series, Jefferson. Like, it took you back to when Michael Jordan used to play, because the Knicks won 13 games in a row. They swept their conference, swept through Atlanta, and they were their last team to beat was the San Antonio Spurs, and they had a 7'2" guy named Wembayama from France and DR Congo.
Wow.
7'2", and they had to beat the Spurs, and it was a good series. The only game they lost was when Trump came. That's when they lost their winning streak. So everybody was mad at him. But the next game was game 4, and they were down 29 points. And they came back, Jefferson, from a 29-point deficit. And the last points that were hit into was OG and Anobi, Nigerian guy. He tipped the ball in. It was few seconds before the end of the game. Won game 4. So we had to go back to San Antonio. It was game 5. And the team captain, Jalen Brunson, scored 42 points in that game and won the championships for the Knicks. So it was a huge celebration. Very excited. And just coming off of that, World Cup games are going on. So tonight, I think Ghana is playing. Ghana's playing tonight. I wish them well. And DR Congo is playing, I think, today too. So I wish them well too in the World Cup games. So, but yeah, Liberia has been rainy. I see a lot of rain, a lot of flooding going on. So hope everyone is doing okay. Hope everyone's doing well with that. We have two good topics to get into today. The first topic is the drug case, huge drug case that's going on in the country. We're going to talk about that. And then our next topic we're going to talk about is the interview that Mr. Cummings had with In the Fries podcast. I don't know if you listen to In the Fries podcast. It's a podcast by Liberians, and we're going to go through some of the things that they talked about on their podcast. But first, I want us to get into this drug case. It started out June 8th, and the LDA presented 198 pressed cocaine plates and said that they had caught this drug bust in the airport. And it was a shipment that was supposed to be going to through Brussels, Air Brussels. And everybody was saying, wow, this is so much drugs, $19 million worth of drugs. What is happening in Liberia? And then they said, well, who's involved? Because the LDA didn't announce anyone who was being arrested. They just showed the drugs on the table and announced that they had these drugs. So everybody started saying, wait a minute, how did this happen? Where did this happen? Who happened? What was going on? What is happening? And the questions started. So we're going to go back. This concession that the where the drugs, the warehouse the drugs were caught in or came from was called GLS and GLS Mensa. And that's attached to the airport. And this concession is between GLS and NAS, which is a worldwide company. And they came together in 2017 and built this warehouse. And it's a shipping warehouse. So what they were trying to do was for Liberians to own our own businesses. We always talk about this on the show. For Liberians to own our own businesses. And another company joined with a Liberian-owned company. And they built this warehouse, this shipping warehouse. And it's attached to RIA Airport. Now, the two brothers that own this company is Peter and Paul King. These are the two brothers that own GLS Mensa. And since 2017, they've been operating this warehouse, shipping warehouse, supposed to be commercial shipments going to this warehouse. Security is there. They're supposed to scan these items, make sure they're safe. They bring them to the airport scan their items, and they go directly on the plane. That's the way how this thing is supposed to work. So since this June 8th, 2026, we have been learning so much about this case. And one of the things that happened was, and Mr. Cummings said this a long time ago, there's big hands in the country, big hands behind this drug business in the country, spoiling the children, spoiling their future, children sleeping in the cemetery. And everybody knew it doesn't make sense. $19 million worth of drugs. Somebody big got to be involved in this thing. Something's got to be going on behind the scenes to allow that much amount of drugs in the country. And so one of the things that happened was the ANC chairman, Lafayette Gould, released a video statement. And here's the statement.
The Alternative National Congress, the ANC, expresses its profound outrage and unequivocal condemnation of the reported smuggling of illicit drugs into Liberia through the Roberts International Airport. The revelations made by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the LDEA, that the illicit substances entered the country through Liberia's principal international gateway approximately 1 week ago raised serious and troubling questions about the integrity of our national security, customs, and border control systems. The incident is not merely a criminal matter. It is a direct assault on the security of the Liberian people and the well-being of our citizens. Drug trafficking continues to destroy communities, endanger young people, fuel organized crime, and undermine public confidence in state institutions. The apparent ability of such significant quantity of illegal drugs to enter the country through a major port of entry points to alarming vulnerabilities that demand immediate attention. The ANC calls for a swift, independent, and transparent and comprehensive investigation into every aspect of this matter. The Liberian people deserve answer. They deserve to know how these drugs entered the country, who facilitated their movement, who was responsible for screening, oversight, and whether any public official, airport personnel, security officers, or politically connected individuals were involved. We further call on the LDEA to immediately disclose the names of all individuals, irrespective of political affiliation, who have been arrested, charged, identified as suspects, or otherwise linked to this drug trafficking operation, consistent with the requirements of the due process of law and the integrity of the ongoing investigation. The public has a right to know who is responsible for this criminal enterprise. Silent secrecy, selective disclosure will only deepen public suspicion and erode confidence in the government's commitment to fighting narcotics trafficking. The ANC warns against attempt to shield powerful individuals, suppress evidence, or politicize the investigation process. Liberia cannot afford another scandal in which accountability is sacrificed for convenience or political protection. The law must apply equally to all persons, regardless of status, wealth, influence, or political affiliation. We also call upon the relevant authorities to provide regular public updates on the progress of the investigation and to ensure that all of those found culpable are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Anything less would send a dangerous signal that Liberia remains vulnerable to the influence of international drug trafficking networks and will foster continuous speculation. The ANC stands firm with the Liberian people in demanding truth, transparency, and justice.
So after that statement by the chairman of the ANC, Mr. Alexander Cummings released a statement, and he says, "We are watching this process with an eagle's eye. Any attempt by hidden hands, powerful interests, or political actors to obstruct or compromise the investigation will be treated as a direct assault on the rule of law, the progress of our country, and the Liberian people's trust in government. We therefore call for the following urgent actions. Establish an independent, credible, and transparent investigation involving national institutions, supported where necessary by trusted international partners." Now, remember when I said this company, GLS Mensa, has a partner, NAS, for that concession over there. They're not doing it by themselves. So we heard this morning that another civil servant organization is also involved now. And this is what they say. I read this morning. This is Liberia Renaissance in Corporate Office. It says, according to the LIROI, it has already begun engaging local and international partners, political institutions, civil society organizations, and diplomatic actors to advocate for a thorough investigation. That means people are calling the international community into this case. And we start at what we know since this investigation started. This brother, Paul and Peter King, they are the ones who have this concession, GLS Mensa, the warehouse attached to the RIA. And there's another partner, another company called EHS. And EHS is run by someone named Arthur Abdullah. Arthur Abdullah. So Arthur Abdullah's investigation tape was leaked online. Front Page Africa had the tape. And in that tape, Arthur Abdullah of EHS, which is the Express Handling Services, he says the person who worked for him, his name is Archie, picked up the package of drugs from Paul King's house on the Old Road. Now, Paul King is one of the owners of GLS Mensa. And the drugs, he said, were in a package that they picked up from Paul King's house. Now, yesterday, President Buckeye suspended Paul King from the board of NOCAL. Paul King was not only a co-owner in GLS Mensa, he was sitting on the board of directors for NOCAL. And President Buckeye suspended him yesterday. But even after they found out $19 million worth of drugs was in his house, and they were picked up by this company, EHS, no arrests have been made. So the man, his name is Arthur Abdullah of EHS, says that his employee, Archie, picked up this package, this cargo, $19 million worth of drugs from the house of Paul King on the old road. And he says, as usual, he always saying as usual, as if this is not the first time this has happened, that they have worked together before. EHS picks up the package. Now, if you recall, there was some video footage that was leaked from RIA, which showed a taxi cab dropping off the packages to be delivered at the warehouse. So the question is, if EHS picked up this package from Paul King's house, why was a taxi delivering the package to the warehouse? Why was the taxi driver delivering these packages to the warehouse? And if this is a commercial warehouse for shipping, they're not supposed to just take packages from anybody. They're supposed to take packages from licensed vendors who have these licenses to pick up commercial shipments. So this is a question that I have. After the cargo was unloaded from the car, it was put into the warehouse, they're supposed to have some kind of security scanners in this warehouse to check and make sure that they are not accepting any kind of illegal substances in their packages. So that's another question that has not been answered yet. Did these packages go through their security in their warehouse before it went to the airport? So the investigators have questioned Arthur Abdullah of EHS, and he said that the shipping bill, the air bill, described the goods as Maggie Cube and Lapas. That's what he thought was in there. He didn't open it, he didn't check, but that's what he thought he received from Mr. King's house. But we still don't know how the taxi got the package after EHS picked it up. Now, we have another investigative tape that was leaked, and this one is Ruth, one of the airport scanners. And she says that when the packages were going through the X-ray machine, she knew that they were suspicious. She knew that something was wrong. She alerted her supervisor, but the packages were taped off and cleared anyway. Let me repeat that. Ruth was the one who was at the scanning machine. She said she saw the packages. They looked suspicious. She knew there was something wrong. She let her supervisor know, but the packages were cleared. They had a tape on them that they were cleared anyway. And the packages went through the scanner at the airport, even though Ruth and her team was at the RIA scanner. So there is a lot going on in this case. Why was Paul King, the owner of GLS Mensa, storing a shipment of Maggie Cube and Lapas at his house? Why did he have this company EHS pick up that package from his house to deliver it to his own warehouse. Why was the taxi involved? Where did taxi come in? And why is there a taxi dropping off things at a warehouse, a shipment warehouse, a commercial warehouse? Did they have any scanners in the warehouse, and did the goods go through the scanner? And why did Ruth, and the investigator kept asking her, if you saw there was something wrong, if you knew there was something wrong, why did you clear the package? Why did the package get cleared to be put on the airline? So there's a lot happening here. There's a lot going on with this case. And there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered. But what we do know is probable cause. Probable cause. That's what you need in order to arrest someone. You don't have to prove 100% that they did it. You just have to show that there is a likelihood that a crime occurred and that they were involved in the crime. And when you answer the question of where did the drugs, where were they found in someone's house, $19 million worth of drugs found in somebody's house, that is a probable cause for an arrest. That's a probable cause for an arrest. Because you will not see someone who owns a warehouse having this kind of packages in their house. And why they didn't just drive it to the warehouse if they thought it was Maggie Cube? Why did they have someone else, some other company picking it up? Then they had a taxi driver come in and pick it up. It seemed like people were trying not to be the one to be seen on camera unloading these packages. So they used a taxi driver to go in and do that delivery. So we want to see the shipping air bill because we want to know where did the package supposedly get picked up and who was the person who was the shipper. That's what we want to see on the air bill. Because if EHS has some paperwork saying they picked up this package and from somewhere and it does not say Paul King's house on the old road, this is another area for probable cause to arrest the EHS people. Because that means there's documents, there's air bills out there that do not have the true information of the pickup location. So you have the EHS people, you have the warehouse people, and the airport security scanning people. Those are the three groups involved right now. And the question is anyone else involved higher up than the King brothers and Abdullah? These are the questions that the investigation is looking into. But what kind of pressure are they putting on these people to find out information? Because no one's been arrested. So how would you know who else is involved if you haven't taken any legal action in the first place? People are wondering, why is the IG Gregory Coleman so quiet? When this situation happened with Sam Jackson, they had armed guards at his house. They went in and they did an investigation. They had forensic teams with these jackets on, walking through his yard. They were doing press conferences. They arrested him. He had to go to South Beach. He had to get a bond to come out of jail. It was all on the news. But they found $19 million of drugs in this, found out that it came from this man's home allegedly, and no one has been arrested. The IG is quiet. And we want to know why. Why so quiet? We heard from President Boakai. He said that we were going to leave no stone unturned. They suspended Paul King from NorCal, but they haven't arrested him. We want to know why. In order for us to really dig through all that needs to be dug through, I think the independent investigation needs to go on. Because if the people who are involved are the same people who are doing the investigation, we will never find out what happened, what's going on, who's involved in this case. So we went on the street and we asked some people, what they thought. And here's an interview.
Wherever you are watching us from, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time at your location. Welcome to have your say on LIB Future TV. This is the program where we bring you the views and opinions of people from all walks of life across our nation, Liberia. It can be recalled that on June 9, 2026, drugs value at 90 million United States dollars were seized at the Roberts International Airport by the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, LDEA. Following the seizure, 6 persons were taken into custody for questioning, but up to this point, their identities or the names of others allegedly linked to the case have not been made public. In its defense, the government has stated that releasing such details prematurely could undermine the ongoing investigation and give those involved time to escape or destroy evidence. Today, I'm out here to gather the views of ordinary Liberians regarding this major $19 million drug bust saga. Specifically, I want to ask, how do they feel that up to now the government has not released the names of anyone involved in this case? Stay with us wherever you are. This is LIB Future TV coming to you live from district number 10. So we have a young man here. Let's go to him. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, welcome to have your say on LIB Future TV. Will you mind telling us your name?
I'm Paul Courage Sabaku II.
Okay. So there is this ongoing $90 million drug saga. Are you following?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you feel about the fact that since the seizure of drugs worth $90 million at the Roberts International Airport, the government has not released the names of those taken in for questioning and those linked to the case?
First of all, I would say I feel so much disenchanted and disappointed at the government, because a few months ago there's a couple of jobs that were caught and these people who were involved, it was exposed. And what is it now? The people who are carried for questioning, their names can come and they can be exposed.
But the government said that if they release the names of those people now or those involved, it will undermine the investigation.
In my own opinion, undermine the investigation, there is an interest going on somewhere.
Which one of the interests?
In the sense that if possible, some official may be involved.
Some official may be involved.
Yeah.
That is why they have not released anyone linked to the drugs or case yet.
Yes.
All right. So on the last question, what does the delay in disclosing names mean to you in terms of transparency and trust?
Because the government say on the line of job issue, they there for transparency and accountability. But what is it now? Transparency having been taking place, they still delay with the name. In my own belief, they should try to bring the name forward to the country and publish it, at least let us know. I can assure you, if it could be on Mr. Alexander Cumming regime, his name has been exposed.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So what is your name again?
I am Paul Courage. I also about the second.
Thank you so much for speaking to our camera.
Thanks for your compliment.
So what we see in this drugs case is what we call a classic conspiracy. And that means that there's a group of people who come together to commit a crime, each one having their own role. And in this case, the evidence is the investigators are putting together the little different pieces. Everyone had their little role and what they did. And there's no proof, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. These are all allegations, speculation based on the evidence. But what we are seeing here is there was a transportation part to this conspiracy. There was a storage part to this conspiracy. There was a security bypass part to this conspiracy. And it looks like this is not the first time that these people have been working together for some time, because in that recording, Arthur Abdullah from EHS says, as usual, we get the call, pick up the stuff from Paul's house. As usual, just like any other time. We pick it up, take it. That's what we do. This is how it normally happens. So the question is, who was supposed to financially gain from this $19 million transport activity? Where did the money come from? Has the government pulled bank records to see whether or not there were payments made either to GLS, the company, or to any of the King brothers that went alongside some of these shipments? So if a shipment left on June 8th, if there was a payment made on June 12th. These are the type of things that we want to hear about. And whether or not there was money that left GLS and went out to some other people, maybe people in the government. It's unbelievable that these things will be happening and no government official would know about it. Unbelievable. So we have to figure out who all is involved, what big hands are involved, and get to the bottom of this story, because we do not want that much drugs coming into Liberia. We already have a major drug problem in Liberia. People are sleeping in cemeteries. People are losing their children. People are losing their brothers, their sisters, their cousins. It's like you grow up with somebody, you know them, you remember how they used to be, and the next thing you know, you find out they're out in the street strung up on drugs. There was a article on LIB Future TV, and there was a young lady laying down on a mattress, pregnant, strung out, completely strung out on drugs. And it's because of the hopelessness, the helplessness. People don't feel like they have a future, a job. They don't have anything to do. They end up taking these drugs. The next thing you know, it takes over your entire body. It's almost like you can't live without it. Your body starts shaking if you don't have these drugs. and you just keep needing more and more and more and more. And then you decide, I don't know how I'm going to get these drugs. This is how crime happens. They go out, I will steal a watch. I will steal this. I will steal whatever I can get my hands on just to get that feeling. Because if I don't get that feeling, my body starts to shake. My head starts to hurt. My stomach starts to feel funny, and they get hooked on these drugs. The next thing you know, they don't care about anything else in life other than getting to these drugs. And so going back to when this whole concession started, it started out as a good idea because you had a big company and a Liberian-owned company coming together to do something for the country, build a warehouse and shipping near the airport. And so if there was international funding used to build this warehouse, the international community is going to become involved in this case. And if there are people in the government or people, they could be sanctioned. They could find themselves into a lot of trouble because this is drug smuggling. And it was about to end up in, I believe, in Europe. These drugs were headed to Europe. But we don't know where they came from yet. That's a question. We don't know who they belong to. And that's the other thing. The danger involved with this is very high. We just saw a letter that was released where the witness protection is involved, saying that they're going to offer witness protection to one of the witnesses because he went on Spoon, and he says that he is afraid of losing his life. He's afraid of, somebody trying to kill him. He was told that if he came back into their country, his name is Oscar Brown. He is a person of interest. He is the airport security manager. And so remember, I told you there's 3 groups involved. There's the warehouse group, which is GLS. There's the transportation group, which is EHS. And then there's the security in the airport, which is the RIA. Those are the 3 groups involved in this whole thing. Where the drugs were before they got to the airport, who made sure they got to the airport, and who turned their eyes when they went through the scanners, the security scanners. That's who's involved in this whole conspiracy. So it says Witness Protection Agency. Mr. Oscar Brown is offered full protection. It says WPA offers full protection for RIA security manager, Mr. Oscar Brown, and all cooperating persons who feel threatened in connection with the 19.2 million RIA cocaine seizure investigation. And then it says they applaud the voluntary appearance of persons of interest, Mr. Paul J. King. So they are applauding Paul King in this letter. They haven't arrested him, or they didn't know he had millions of dollars of drugs in his home. They're applauding him. They said Mr. Brown stated that he received credible warnings against returning to Liberia following a training seminar abroad indicating that persons have been posted at the airport to arrest and eliminate him. So they are offering him the witness protection program so that he can come back to Liberia and give his statement as to what is going on and what happened and what is happening. And I think he is fearful that if he talks about people in the government, he will end up eliminated, like he said. So we're going to watch that on LIB Future TV. We're going to be watching this story very carefully. Like Mr. Cummings and the ANC said, with an eagle eye, we're going to be watching to see what's going to happen. But this is a huge, huge, huge story in the country. And we cannot stop looking and see what is going on with it. Because we can continue down this path. We cannot continue down this path. We cannot allow the government or people involved, big hands in the country, to allow Liberia to become a transit for drugs because of the crime, guns, all kinds of things that happen whenever you have drug wars and drug gangs and all of that. So we're going to really keep an eye out for what's going to happen in this case. We're going to go to the phone lines, but before we do, I want us to just hear some clips from this interview that Mr. Cummings had in the Fries podcast. It's a podcast. They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. It's called In the Fries. And I'm going to play some of the clips from that interview.
Just to leave. One is we didn't do a good job of selling ourselves in the past. We let the opposition define us, and we didn't react, right? So they define me as being this elitist. And some people associate success with being elite.
I tell you.
Right? There's automatic.
But Mr. Kuma, I think I speak some colloquial. I think because you do a series, too many people there.
No, that's right.
I see the people
you're right.
Carry you.
You're right.
Your friend can just carry you, just pull you somewhere because they can just say, oh,
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, they meant to correct.
Yeah. But you're serious worse than mine.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I think.
But you're not running for president. I am. Right?
Yeah.
So I let people define me. I'm going to define myself now. You know, people accuse me of coming gay, support gay lifestyle. Complete bullshit. Excuse my language. I can use that word.
No,
complete bullshit, right? And we didn't react, right, about that, right? So we're going to not let anything settle. We're not going to be defined by others. We'll define ourselves to do that differently. We're intentional about connecting with young people, right? But I want Liberians to believe we can change our country.
And the change was
that the life we're living is not what God destined for us.
Amen.
Struggle not okay for Liberia.
We can change Liberia. Look, you all are examples.
A lot of Liberians are giving up on the country.
You all are examples where you come to this country and you're doing well in this system. If we create the right system, the right environment, Liberians will thrive.
Yes.
Even those people who are hustling today, you change the environment, the reward, consequence, they will shift. They will do it well.
Definitely shift.
We can change Liberia, and so I want Liberians to realize that. But it will not happen because we say so, I say so. Happen because we do the work and we do things differently. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That's the definition of insanity. You want Liberia to change? We gotta do things differently, right? And Liberians, even in your daily life, if you want a different life tomorrow, Damo, you gotta do something different. Otherwise, the life will just.
So that was Mr. Cummings from In the Fries talking about things he will do differently in this new time that he will be introducing himself again to Liberians, going around meeting Liberians, that he's going to not let other people define him. You know, they lied on him about this whole gay thing. And maybe people think that success means that you are somewhat removed. I see Dr. Vicky, um, one of the people in social media. Dr. Vicky was arrested because she had an entourage at a hotel. I mean, she had an entourage at a nightclub, and they were, I guess she was in the VIP, and a rapper, one of her, I guess her relative or someone, tried to go into the VIP, and there was a scuffle with her security. And so Dr. Vicky was arrested. And people are saying, you know, it's probably because she goes around so successful. And, you know, there's a thing about people who have success in Liberia. And Mr. Cummings is saying he's not going to allow people to define him. He's going to let people know if there's a lie happening right away. He will attack that lie. He would not let things just go unanswered. So this is another clip from the interview.
What is sad, J-Biz, is that it's not mutually exclusive. You can do both. You can take care of yourself and you can take care of the country. But there's this short-term selfish mentality that is just me.
Mm-hmm.
It's an and, it's not or.
Yeah, and.
It's an and. You can do both. This country, there's patronage in America.
Yeah.
I mean, but they do both, right? It's not, but in our country, yeah, one way.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry. Don't worry. Like
Oh,
I saw everybody posting about why Timothy we didn't mention because.
So this part about we can do both. We can take care of our country and take care of ourselves. You know, a good example of that was this concession, GLS Menzi. You know, they were given an opportunity to have a shipping warehouse attached to the airport. And that is a success story for a Liberian-owned company. Team up with a bigger company and operate the warehouse in a legal way. And the money that you get, you hire in Liberians, you are bettering the economy. And if you do it well, you know, you can also have other warehouses around the country and you can hire more Liberians. And so instead, in Liberia, the money that is taken to invest in the warehouse, they take it and do something else with it. The money that they give to put in a budget for these things, they take it to do something else for it. They never do the part they're supposed to do to take care of the country, to build jobs, you know, this is what they're talking about. You can do good for yourself and for the country at the same time. But in Liberia, they take the money, you don't see the outcome. Look at this bridge in Grand Bassa. You know, the bridge has completely fallen apart. People cannot get to the college. It's so unsafe. You know, where is the money in the country for the building of bridges, for infrastructure? Where is that money? Where is it going? Do lawmakers really need cars every 2 years, $45,000 cars? Do their staff need cars too? Don't they make enough money to buy their own car? So the waste that we see could have gone into fixing bridges. And that's what Mr. Cummings is saying when he says, we can take care of ourselves and the country at the same time. We do not have to only just take the money and keep it for ourselves.
I want to know, what is your ideal Liberia? If you had to describe Liberia as you see it, what would that look like?
AI. AI, baby. We're gonna make it AI.
I want to.
It's a great question, Diamond, and I will answer it from two perspectives, or maybe even three perspectives. One is around values. One is around the kind of society I would like us to aspire to, and then one is around the physical look and feel of the country. So I really hope, my vision, my prayer for Liberia is that we can restore integrity, reward hard work, a merit-based system, meaning you got to earn what you get based on merit, based on your performance, not because you're my cousin or we're all from the Grebo tribe, or those things are not unimportant, but it shouldn't be what you lead with.
Yeah.
They're all considerations, right? But you can't have a job. You have J-Biz very qualified. You have Nabil very unqualified. But because Nabil support me, because you're my supporter, I use you as an example. you can't do that, right? But now, if it's close, hey, you
give it to your cousin. It makes sense.
It's human nature, right? Or your God that supported you, that kind of stuff, right? But we don't do that. We never develop the country with that mentality.
The public face do it. They can't even do it. Where it's like somebody have to question why they did it. They just do it. Yeah.
The second, so I hope we get to that point in the country where and we treat each other with decency, we work together.
Transparency.
The second aspiration for our country, you may have heard this, I describe this bowl of rice we all eat from, right? Because rice is our staple. Mm-hmm. I want a Liberia where we're making that bowl of rice bigger, we're growing it, right? And we're guaranteeing every Liberian the right to put a hand in that bowl of rice. Because, think about it, you don't choose your tribe. Mm-hmm. Nobody chooses to be Kola, Gio, Vai, Madingo, Kong, or whatever. You don't choose your tribe.
Yes, sir.
You don't choose your gender. You don't choose your age when you're born, right? I'm the oldest one yet. That's not a choice. You don't choose your religion you're born into, Christian, Muslim, right? Those things should not give you advantage or disadvantage over anybody because it's not your choice. So we want a Liberia where we guarantee every Liberian the right to put your hand in a bowl of rice, regardless of your tribe, your age, your gender, your religion. It shouldn't matter because it's not a choice.
Right.
What will stop you is what you do. So if you don't follow the rules, because that's a choice. If you choose to rape, steal, kill, whatever, that's a choice. We're not letting you put your hand in a bowl of rice. Right? If you're lazy, you're not eating much of the rice. That's a choice.
Keep cooking.
If you red hot, you eat more of the rice.
Uh-huh.
That bro we want when we're making our bowl of rice.
So Mr. Cummings is talking about merit and not favoritism based on your party or your tribe or your county or your family people or your country people. And the reason why it's important is because we want quality people to serve in government. We want competent people to serve in government. We want people who have integrity to serve in government, because government is not supposed to be the most lucrative or money-making part of the country. When you're in government, you're supposed to be there for public service, but you need to have a private sector, and that's where most of the money is supposed to come from. The problem is the government officials do not use our budget to build the country so that we can have a private sector. And a perfect example of that, in the SONA, I believe it was the 2025 SONA, President Barker said they were going to build 600 affordable housing units for people who are low income who need housing. Since that time, nothing. They've held different conferences, meetings, seminars, all kinds of different events. But have they actually found a place to build these houses? No. Have they identified where they're going to be built? No. Have they put plans in public works for the houses yet? No. Have they shown the public where these houses are? No. But instead of building 600 affordable homes for the people in Liberia, you see and you hear that President Puaka is expanding his own home, that he's built, that he's bought property around his own property, he's expanded his home, and he has also built villas in Foya. Instead of building affordable homes for the people in Liberia, what would that do? That will bring construction jobs. That will bring money for people who sell materials. That will bring income into people's homes, and that will bring housing for people who need it. But instead of that, he's expanding his own home and also building villa in Foya for, he says, Mano River region, for peace, people to come. These people already have homes. If they need to meet somewhere, if it's a desperate need for them to meet, they have to fly into the airport in Monrovia. They can meet at any of these hotels or the executive mansion. Why do they need a villa in Foya more than the people who need affordable housing in Liberia? You see, so government has got to use our resources to invest in our people, and then we can have a better country.
When a lot of people think Coca-Cola, yes, but they think Coca-Cola Liberia. They think the factory in Liberia.
Yes, it's true.
The factory in Liberia is like is a rounding in the total scheme of
I don't think that Coke,
stuff, right?
that real Coke, that's on the fashion lab.
No, it's the same Coke. No, it's the same thing.
Is it?
It's the same thing.
Have you seen Coke? They can say Coca-Cola here, made in America, without the bottle.
It's the same thing everywhere.
And the same, okay.
The same product everywhere, right? But first of all, I ran all of Coke Africa. Mm-hmm. So the entire continent responsible for it. Did that for 7 years. Then my last job, I had global responsibilities for strategy, human resources, legal, all of what we call the technical functions, R&D, quality, procurement, manufacturing, secret formula, the foundation, the legal, all of that reported to me. Huge, complex process, right? We change people, we change systems, we change processes, right? So we can create it, right? And we can dismantle it and recreate it again, right? And the country needs systems, it needs processes. Chip is when you got process systems, you get predictability.
Yes.
You get repeatability. You can predict, you can repeat. Everybody will experience the country the same way, right? Fairly. So we need to put those systems in place. Liberians, you live here, you follow the rules, you follow the systems, right?
Not able to.
When you go to Liberia, people think, oh, somehow I can disobey the rule.
Yeah. Right?
You know, I mean, that cannot be. So the diaspora get our fee. Everything changes. Right. We gotta change that behavior. Sorry, it can be done. We can do it, and it will not just be me.
Right.
We'll build a team. I don't know it all. As I said to you, I know what I know. I know what I don't know. If you know more than me in the area, come, let's fix it. Right. So it will be a team of people. Right. We'll use some of the experiences on the ground. You can't ignore it.
Yeah.
Right? People know it, they've experienced it.
Yes.
It will be a combination of what I bring, what people bring, some diasporans, all that's the combination. But the key is we all gotta have the same objective.
Yeah.
We gotta be working towards the same goal. Right? And then we make different experiences to achieve that objective. We'll make some mistakes along the way. We'll make some mistakes, but we'll admit it, we'll correct it, and we'll keep moving. It will not be perfect, it will not be easy, but it can be done. We just gotta be persistent, determined, right? We got to hold all of us. When I saw whoever with me on this journey, right? We got to be determined and hold each other accountable. You got to say, Chief, I don't like that thing not right. I got to be willing to listen, right? Same thing with the people that work with me. I got to say, this is not working. We got to fix it, right? It's those kind of conversations, those hard, but we got to be clear on what we're trying to do. And that's to uplift the average, the ordinary, the common Liberian. It's not the few. There are a few thousand people today that benefit from Liberia the way it is.
I'll tell you.
And they don't want to change it.
Yeah.
They talk change, but they fight the change.
Yeah.
Right? We have to be determined that the country gotta benefit the common, the ordinary Liberian. Right? The money gotta filter down. We gotta push it so that the average Liberian can see the difference in their lives. Over the last 10 years, average teacher, healthcare worker, policeman, their life has not changed.
No.
In some ways, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, the pressure
That cannot be.
I mean, I was about to come to that, though.
That cannot.
So I think Mr. Cummings is on to something. I think we should try him. I think he has the right idea for change in the country. We've tried the Unity Party. We've tried the CDC. We've seen that nothing really has changed. We need something new and something different so that we can change this country. Like he said, the average person in Liberia's life has not changed. The nurse, policeman, firefighter, the doctor, the market woman, the student, same thing from Unity Party to CDC. So we need to try something different so we can get a different result in this country, so we can change the country.
What is sad, J-Biz, is that it's not mutually exclusive. You can do both. You can take care of yourself and you can take care of the country. But there's this short-term selfish mentality that is just me.
Mm-hmm.
It's an and, it's not or.
Yeah, and.
It's an and. You can do both. This country, there's patronage in America.
Yeah.
I mean, but they do both, right? It's not. But in our country, yeah, one way.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry.
Don't
worry. Like I saw everybody posting about why Timothy we didn't mention because.
So I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinion. I want you to call in, tell us what you think about this drug case, this $19 million case. And I also want you to tell me what you think about Mr. Cummings' interview. Tell me what you thought was interesting about it. Jefferson, if you can open the phone lines, we can hear from our people, hear what they have to say.
All right, folks. So you're listening. It's time that you interact on 0777 959 959 0777 959 959 0881 871 670 0881 871 670 and the WhatsApp or international line +231 777 959 959. The WhatsApp line +231 777 959 959. And locally 0777 959 959 0777 959 959 0881 871 670. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes.
I'm Joshua Mele, on you from Peace and Community.
Okay, go ahead, Joshua. Hello, Joshua, go ahead. Hello? Hello? Okay, let's get
Yeah.
Mohammed Donzo.
Yeah, good evening, Jeff.
Yeah, good evening, Mohammed.
I appreciate God for everything.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay. Well, Jeff, my name is Mohammed Donzo Fana Jr., a proud son of Lofa County and a member of the Concerned Line for Justice. Well, Jeff, this thing, I want to really, get my grievances to the ANC people, because it's time your people, the people from the ANC, when they come on the platform, they always emphasize on the two parties that have failed the Liberian people. I always butcher that. I say they are making mistakes. The two party, when you say the two party fail Liberian people, I disagree with them. When you say the Union Party fail Liberian people, I agree with you. But don't say the CDC, the Union Party, and we all are in opposition. But the path these guys are taking, and to be frank with you, this guy cannot take, leadership in the country, without the CDC, to be frank. Without the CDC. ANC cannot take a leadership in this country without the CDC. The only thing I would say is, let it emerge with the CDC. 2029, most president will complete a 6 year. Then 2036, we can elect Kumi. These guys, they have always tell what Kumi. We all know that Kumi is an economist, everything, But some of these guys, when they come on the platform, they always, dedicating the CDC. I would listen to that platform. Say the CDC have failed the people. I would say the CDC failed the Liberian people, in 6 years time. What the Union Party in 15 years time, they have ruled the country as in 15. 12 plus 3 is 15. So 15 years time, you guys have the Union Party have not seen any people like them for the only suppress the people. Then the guys from the ANC always come on the platform, saying that the CDC say in our administration. We did a lot of things. We build roads. We build feeder road in most of it. The CDC government, we the government that built feeder road that make other community, they feel the vibe of Kota, the CDC government. So
Okay.
I always say that this guy, we are in opposition where one can on your platform want to dedicate our party. You guys in that kind of power at the CDC. Thank you for offering the opportunity.
Thank you so much. 0777 959 959. Let's go back to the line. Good evening.
My brother, good evening. How are you today?
Good evening, John Tamba.
Yeah, this is John D. Tamba. I think you got my number on your computer, right?
The voice. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for that magnificent recognition. I did not listen to your panelists in a way, but something can be the cause for us to lay here on the phone to call on any show for that matter. Look, if those garden looking for or maybe even razor blade to grab to climb on the Jacob ladder, let it be clear with the Liberian people. How will you say that the CDC did not feel the Liberian people? How you got money to they put you people from out of power? This is the question you should be asking yourself. How you manage? In 6 years' time, we shall pause. We know the Constitution tells us you can go for a second term. How did you manage? These are the questions you're supposed to be asking yourself. My brother, let me say this for just short time. When the CDC governed this country for 6 years, by this time, we're talking about gas shortage in the little country, even though we have another crisis that where the gas coming from. By this time, the people of Liberia are purchasing gas for $1,500. The records are there. In 3 years' time, people were claiming on fence to purchase rent for $5,000 for bed. By this time, the Liberian were even car were falling down before from Looking Town to Douala. The records are there. We got all of the footage. We got all of the video clip of us. When truck were falling down from Looking Town from Douala to Looking Town from Looking Town to Freeport. You guys could not repair that road. Which are the few roads were you referring to? Or the road that you talk about, like looking at Miami, in America, when you pour rehabilitate the road around your house, then you claim that you say funeral road.
Okay.
In 2 years' time, this government, my brother, that'll do the comparison around here. In 2 years' time, the road you failed to fill for 6 years, it's almost on completion. In 2 years' time, the government are not going to 3 years here. Look, my brother, let me tell you something. The word failure is relative. We will not say that the United Party government is 100%. No. I would disagree with anybody. United Party is not 100%. When it comes to job creation, we need to do more when it comes to job creation. Because the people are yearning for jobs. Then how will you say, oh, no, when you talk about failure, don't mention the CDC there. The CDC is not supposed to be part of it. Are you real? Yeah. Maybe for different planet. Okay. Because we know where existed here in 6 years' time. People could not live freely. All the time were being killed on a daily basis under your regime. You better find place to sit down. Have a blessed evening, my brother.
Thank you so much. 0777 959 959. The program you're listening to is LIB Future TV here on 95.9. And the numbers to call are 0777 959 959, 0881 871 670, and +231 777 959 959. Call any of those numbers and be live. Good evening.
Yeah, who was name?
Your name and where you call from?
My name is Alvin S. Walker.
Alvin.
And I call from Sonny Wayne community.
Sonny Wayne. Alvin, let's hear you, Alvin.
Yeah. Oh, my info the afternoon is that concerning the drugs. Yeah. What I want to know is that why is it the police not stick to the drugs issue yet, and also the DA, and they're just taking the case to be so lightly, and the public needs to be aware. Because if they just slow down with the identical drugs issue, my brother, seriously, Liberians would need justice in the country, and we are willing to count us out, and the government needs to give us clarity. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's go back to this line and get this person. Hello. Good evening. Okay, let's come back to line 1. Good evening.
Yeah, hello, Jason. Calling from Claratown.
Yes, let's hear you from Claratown.
Well, what happened now? You know, some people are working in the government, so they can't talk, but you're not supposed to talk. You know, last time at the time talking about COVID affected the whole world, so more people don't farm it. So that's why the red prayer went up. You go to Taiwan, no way. China said, no way. You go to India or something, the higher rate, bro. No way. They say red went to 5,000.
Hello.
Yeah.
We're discussing the drugs and the statement that Mr. Cummins' engagement in the drugs. That's what the panelist is discussing. Don't deviate from the conversation, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying, the drug issue.
Yeah.
I see America arresting some government officials because they put in the poor who don't know about it, they put in info, then they redo them. Yeah. But thank God America sent an FBI here to investigate. So anything will not have, I will not go. So I will not go to jail for somebody. They bought the drugs at the port in the, I think, 4 or 5 containers. And they carry somewhere where they can pass away. They carry to the port and ship it. They when the third shipment, they try to ship. They ship the first one, the second one, and the third one. Maybe what happened? The money they probably somebody will not get it for the money. So they put it in the corner and go along. So Martin called it. And why you see the drugs issue. So they don't put it, you tell them put it out of to stay sharp for it. We're not can near the investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what? They don't split place with no.
Okay.
Great Britain says security people here. So basically, because they say only shipment to Great Britain, the only bus to Great Britain. So that Britain are shipping it. So the first 2 shipments, we want to know where they ship the first 2 shipments. They ship here.
Okay.
So the country is selling it.
All right. Okay.
Then Kumi, Kumi said, you don't laugh. What Kumi said is a fact. Investigate your own people. When you try to shield your people, then you bring in somebody with innocence in the drug issue. And we don't work. already waiting. To America already, so we get there to America. Yeah, America a red Venezuela president woman for the same drugs. You can arrest him right anytime. America people arrest him ready to carry them. So anything they talk, you with them. So all of them coming defending fair rule. We will face.
Okay. Thank you, my brother. Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
DJ Constance.
Yeah, man.
Welcome. Let's hear you.
No, you see, the thing about this drugs matter. I don't know. We are going close to 21 days. 21 days, right? But I was listening to the day that the FDA did a press release. Another station, let me keep the name for that station small. They were having a talk show, and somebody said that the drugs, when the drug was spotted upon, the person who had the drug was sneaked away by the security. Now, the next day, that press release was done by figure. What I try to say here, this is not the first consignment, this is not the second consignment, this is not the third, this is not even the fourth, but there is a confusion that brought an alarm. The same sharing of money with the same security pool. Somebody was cheated. Look, I'm a patrolman. I move around. I get in the call. But I don't have investigation. I won't be the same. Some money was mismanaged by the distributor.
That was pretty alarming.
Now they know all the news they're calling, forget umbrella check. None of the people are part of this thing. None. But they'll try to cover up because one person among them, one of the twin among them knows. So if they bring that one in, he will call news. And I want to try to call up. But we may not know on the something will come out again and will just fly away. The media will the country will just fly away from the Georgia and just go on to a new thing. Or they just create a new thing, but this Georgia will make noise style. Someone say America can't arrest. America not going to arrest anybody here.
Okay.
No Georgia, America after that thing, the other terrorists. So what Georgia terrorists will they come and arrest here? The thing is a team, but three nations. Even that Brussels that Georgia are going to, they know about it.
Okay.
So tell me that we just they let come to a man. I hear a man coming. Look, why you say if a level be come will pay attention to his ambition. Because if you start going to government politics, you start losing strength.
But not the same thing.
Continue to get your strength and just leave the government thing. Because they play with us, let us play with them.
All right, Constance. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, your name and where you call from?
I'm Joshua Yumele. I join you from the Congo Gambia, the be specific around East Island.
Let's say Joshua.
Okay, my attention has been drawn to Oga today, what the president announced that he allegedly know something about the drugs business. Firstly, let me be bold. Joseph Waka, they're making fun of the particular country. You understand? You know, Labrador, at the time, the Labrador, not the Labrador now. You understand? The problem is that the particular drug issue, everything is boring and everything is well known to the public. Don't be afraid. Say what you know. But don't bab the issue and then you try to say any other thing. So in short, why everybody know, when everybody know, just go direct and say. You understand? Okay. And my second talk tonight is based on the Zana Kumi issue. You know, every stages in life, they are cycle. Do you understand? So for me, the best side, if una will be Alexander Kumis, go to Joia, you become his mate, and then you'll keep the ball rolling. So we can see the birth figure and the birth star of the particular nation. For me, now the best choice for Alexander Kumis.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my brother, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
This is Abakemuka from Kawa.
Visually impaired Abba. Let's hear you, brother.
Thank you very much. You know, the issue of the drugs, it was discovered by the government. What happens means the government they have every necessary mechanism to detect and try to investigate the person who brought in the drugs. But for people to sit down and say they see what they arrested Venezuela president, they want the $100 million drug, they're not arresting anybody yet. That $90 million drug, people will come, America will come from we to the place and say they come here and arrest somebody. We're not here for a joke. When you come to the day school, come with honesty, sincerity, and impartiality. But when you want to politicize everything, then people want to know your hidden agenda. So the issue here is everyone, we are waiting to listen to know who initiated the drugs, who passed the drugs, and who commanded before he was arrested. Now, the issue of Cummings, Mr. Cummings, everybody say on radio he's a fine gentleman. My brother, everything in my mind, the Liberian people mind have not gravitated toward Cummings. Honestly speaking, I want to be on record. Play these things and let us pray for 2029. And just what I'm telling you will be the truth. But for people to say, go to former president, we have to be vice president. President, we already get someone that worked with him for long that he used to. It doesn't just say vice president because you want to say vice president. You say vice president because of your close proximity. How you know the president to be and how you can work with the president. Vice president. So we're just sitting down and you're thinking that about some people say we are about vice president. And then we have to start to commercialize the ticket to come in. Then it will play another ball game. Thank you.
Thank you so much. 0777 959 959 0777 959 959 0881 871 670 0881 871 670. The WhatsApp line plus 231 777 959 959 plus 231 777 959 959. You're listening to LIB Future TV here on Kia Radio 95.9 on this Tuesday, June 23, 2026. This person, go back to the line. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. Okay, you're not ready. Yes, so keep your calls coming as we go back to Ms. Gibson.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so I got the calls. I think Dunzo calls all the time, and he's a staunch, strong CDC supporter. And there's nothing no one can say that's going to change his mind. That's his party, and that's who he supports. And we respect that at LIB Future TV. But Donzo has to also respect that I am a strong supporter of Mr. Cummings, not because I know Mr. Cummings or no other reason, but I want to see change in Liberia. I want to see jobs come to Liberia. I want to see a better country in Liberia. So when I say that nothing has changed, what I mean by that is there's not been a real difference in the lives of Liberians between the CDC and the Unity Party government. Yes, the CDC built roads. Yes, the Unity Party is building roads. But when I mean change, I'm talking about when a graduate graduates from school, high school, college, what's the next step for them? There's not jobs in the country. There's poverty in the country. There's real hunger in the country. And that's the way how it's been for a long time. whether it was the CDC government or the Unity Party government. You know, terrible, terrible conditions in the country, living conditions, not a lot of housing. And when we look around at other countries, whether it's Ghana, Sierra Leone, or Guinea, or Mali, these are countries that are our neighbors. They are moving forward in the country. That's what I mean when I say there hasn't been a lot of change between one government and the other government. You know, it hasn't been a real difference in the lives of the typical average Liberian. And that was the case under the CDC government. I remember when I used to listen to the news, there was so much going on with armed robberies. And one of the things the president at the time said was that people should get CCTV. You know, that was his advice for how to deal with all of the armed robberies and the crime happening in the country. You know, it was one scandal after another. I remember first they said he should declare his assets. Now, President Weah did not declare his assets. And as a result, a lot of the people in his administration refused to declare their assets. You know, and there were so many scandals under the CDC government. There was the money printing that happened and the missing money, what happened, you know, with that scandal. Then it went on sanctions, you know, being placed on government officials. You know, they had, you know, these huge rallies and there was violence. I remember there was the Telia Yuri campaign when they had violence, you know, in that campaign. You know, inflation under CDC reached 28%. And that's when Save the State protests happened in the country. You know, there was so much inflation. I remember police had to use tear gas and water cannons in these protests. And this is similar to what happened when the young people started protesting under Joseph Boakai. They were dragged in the street. So there was like, I remember President Weah said he was going to declare a national emergency on sexual violence. He was supposed to have a special prosecutor named. They were going to do the sex offenders registry. None of that really happened. Then they had the death of the auditors, you know, Albert Peters and Gifty Lama. And that was huge outrage that happened in the country. You know, I think there was cash shortages in the country. And they had this missing money scandal that happened, you know. And under George Weah, I think they promised a war crimes court. The same they promised under Unity Party, war crimes court. So they never did the war crimes court under George Weah. They never did it under Unity Party. They said they're trying to do it now, but it hasn't come together yet. We're still waiting for the war crimes court. B Mountain, that concession was initially passed under Ellen's time, but who renewed that concession? Does anybody on the radio listening now can tell me who renewed the B Mountain concession that allowed B Mountain to get 97% and only give Liberia 3% royalty of its own gold? That was the CDC government. So in as much as we are all in the opposition, we do not want to go backwards to do the same thing. We have to change Liberia. In order to change Liberia, we all have to work together. All the citizens, all the people, all the opposition, but we need a leader that's going to lead us in a different direction than what happened under the CDC and what happened under Unity Party. We have to go something different. We have to do something different. If we keep going back to the same old way of doing things, we will not get any results. So my brother Donzo, who says that we built roads, every government is supposed to work on the roads, but that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about when Mr. Cummings become president, you will have companies who will come into the country because they know he has integrity. He will not allow the stealing and the corruption under his government. In fact, right now, the way how they get away with corruption is everything is done by paper in Liberia. Every ministry has their own paper records, they do their own checks. It's all very separated. And then they don't catch the stealing until months later. That's not how it's going to work. Everything will be electronic under Mr. Cummings. Everything will be on computer. You cannot steal easily when you have to do everything electronically through the computer. Just like he said when he went to Rwanda. In Rwanda, everybody uses a phone to pay for things. Everything is electronic. It stops people from stealing so easily because there's a paper trail. Very quickly, you can find out someone has transferred money they wasn't supposed to transfer, or they have done things they wasn't supposed to do, and you know exactly where the money went. So these are the ways how we will stop the corruption and the stealing. And once you stop all that corruption, all that stealing, you can use the money now to build the country. Mr. Cummings said he's going to bring 600,000 jobs into Liberia. That means when people graduate, they don't have to be looking around thinking what they're going to do, who they're going to ask. Something happened, they don't know where to go. He said he's going to have local healthcare clinics in the cities, in the towns, in the villages, in the communities, in the rural areas. So people are not traveling so far to go to the hospital. He said he's going to fix the LEC problem and the electricity problem finally in the country. And for the Unity Party people, we're not saying that Unity Party is not doing anything, that nothing is good is happening, that there's no progress. What we are saying is it's very slow. A lot of these projects that the Unity Party is working on are things that were already started under other governments, and they're just continuing to push these projects along. But there's no real innovation, no real vision for the country, no real changes in the country. One of the main things that's holding the country back is rule of law. If we don't have a rule of law in the country, and we don't have respect for the rule of law, people will not come in the country and want to do business. And the Unity Party government has shown that they do not respect the rule of law. And similar things happen under the CDC government. In the CDC, they removed Kabina Jami. In the Unity Party, they removed Fanati Kofa. They removed Yeke Koluba. They removed Yeke Koluba. They didn't have enough signatures. People that were supposed to have signed were not even in the country. And the court has not given him his day in court yet. This is not respecting the rule of law in the country. It's not. Now, right now, they're under a huge test, this drugs situation, as to if they are going to respect the rule of law. And we are watching, everybody is watching, because this King brothers did not do all of this allegedly by themselves. Other people are involved in this case. and we want to see if he or if they will get arrested. So you mean to tell me that in Liberia, you can have $19 million worth of drugs in your house and not get arrested? But one of the musicians had a little bit of marijuana and was marched down the street, taken in a van, arrested for little of nothing drugs. That is not the rule of law in the country. But on this issue of opposition unity and coming together as an alliance in the opposition, all of the alliance, all of the way how Liberians win elections, there has to be an alliance. People have to come together. Different parties come together. In a Unity Party, they had the Liberty Party. They had all these different parties came together. Alcop, that's how they were able to win. The CDC came together with the NPP. And the first time they had an alliance with Prince Johnson. Then the second time, the MDR went in allied with the Unity Party. So in Liberia, you have to come together with the different parties to win elections. Everybody knows that. But what we want to see in the country is change. We want to see change. So all of these parties will have to get together and decide who is going to lead the coalition and who is going to change the country. Who is going to change the country for the better. And that's why we are saying, if you want to change Liberia for the better, there must be an alliance, whether it's CMC, whether it's CDC, whether it's ANC, whether it's LINU. They must all get together, all these parties, all these officials, all these leaders must get together and talk and decide. But one thing they have to decide, who will lead and change this country? Because we need to change. We cannot go back to what we have seen in the past if we want a better future. We can't go backwards because it hasn't worked. Since the first Ellen's time, I think people felt that her first term was good, but that second term, when she started hiring her family people and all that scandal happened with her son and the bank, and President Weah never pursued it. He never went after them or never, prosecuted them. Let them go. And now this time, Unity Party is trying their best to pursue the CDC. They're trying their best to go after Fina Bondu, go after Samuel Twe, go after all these people, but they can't get the case to stick because they haven't done any good. So the cases are not, they're not strong cases. I don't know where they have their evidence, what kind of evidence they bring out against Fina Bondu, but I haven't seen anything that a jury can convict her with. So, these are cases that you have to prove. And, just saying that, you want to go after people. I even went after Claudia's Hope Foundation. And they can't get a subpoena to get records. So it's a lot of wasted money that's happening that, we haven't seen much in this government either. And so this next 2029, we want to see jobs in the country, tourism jobs. We want our graduates to work. They deserve to have a good future, the future that our grandparents and our parents did not have in Liberia. The future these kids need to be in school, not selling on the street. We need to have better education. Is it possible? Do you believe that it's possible? Yes. But if you're going to have a different country, You have to do different things. You have to choose different people, you know. And yes, we believe that the CDC, the CMC, all these groups have to come together and make an alliance. But the truth is, nothing has changed over the last 2 administrations. Nothing has changed. So we have to find a way to push together and do things differently. Did CMs did the CDC do some good things? Yes. There's some good things that happen in the CDC. In fact, I believe that the reason why the Liberia is the UN Security Council and the MCC Compact, all of those things started and began under the CDC administration. You know, the RIA highway. There was a lot of good things that happened under the CDC administration. Things that are happening now under the Unity Party's administration with solar panels. You know, they're trying to get other alternate energy. So there's some good things happening, but it's not enough to change the way how Liberia is structured. You need structural changes, rule of law, stopping the corruption and the stealing. The judges need to follow the law. Bribery, we need to get that out of the system. The police need to get paid more. When Mr. Cummings is saying, we're going to pay civil servants $300 to $400 a month, called a living wage. And once we pay people more, they can take care of their families. They will not be looking to stop cars to take bribes. They'll not be able to change. They will not want to change grades in the school because they will have money to pay their bills and to feed their family. One of the things that Mr. Cummings talks about, which is different than the CDC pro-poor agenda. Pro-poor agenda, they did harmonization, which is they made everybody's money smaller, and then they put more people on the payroll and gave everybody a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. So everybody got, more people got a little bit more. That was the pro-poor agenda. But Mr. Cummings is saying, no, we are not going to do harmonization. We're not going to give people a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. We're going to pay civil servants more money, $300 to $400 a month. We're going to go to our concessions. Instead of signing 3% royalties from B Mountain, like the CDC did, we are going to use the concession money. We're going to renegotiate. We're going to get more money from our concessions. So our budget, instead of it being $1.2 billion, it will be $2 billion or more. We have a bigger budget. Once we have a bigger budget, we can pay our people more money. We pay the civil servants more money. They have more money to spend in the marketplace. They have more money to spend in schools. They have more money to spend in stores. They have more money to get things for their house, to buy cars. In the country means more money for other people. More jobs, bringing more jobs. Then you have to strengthen the court system. All of these land cases, we have to stop all of this, bulldozing people's houses, changing deeds, backdating documents. Everything is supposed to be online. When you get your property deed, it's supposed to be in the county records. They look in the computer, they should see Jefferson owns this property on this place. There's no question about it. This is Jefferson's house. That's the way how you're supposed to protect people's property. You can't have people coming back 20, 30, 40 years saying they own this, they own that, they own this. That's what we call statute of limitations. Statute of limitations. At some point, whether it's 20 years, whether it's 30 years, the legislature has to pass a law that says after 25 years or 30 years, you cannot come and disturb people. Now, let me tell you why when the wartime was happening, people understood that you had to leave, you had to run, you had to protect yourself. You may find yourself in a Ghana camp. You may find yourself in Netherlands or Germany or America because you had to leave, you had to run for war. But the war is over. And if you were interested in coming back to Liberia to claim your land, you should do that. You should do that. You should put it on record. You should put your deed on record. You should record your deed and put it in the archives and make sure it's there to protect your property. But if you are not doing that and somebody starts to build their business, their properties, they've been doing it, and you didn't say anything, you didn't write them any letter, you didn't deliver any notice to them, you cannot come back 20, 30, 40 years and bulldoze them off the property. So the legislature has to pass these laws. These are important laws to protect the rights of citizens. So when we say it's time for change, that's what we mean. We change by rule of law so that we can have jobs and businesses come into the country so people can work, earn a decent living, get good health care, get good education. Look at University of Liberia. No, nothing really has changed from the CDC to the Unity Party time. So these things, we have to do something differently. We have to go back to when, before all this war was, how Liberia was thriving and growing, and we had shrimp industries, we sold seafood across the world, we developed coffee, we had an agricultural industry growing. And that was one of the things that Tober was trying to do, was to increase the agricultural sector in the country. And for the Unity Partisans, we expect to see agriculture, because that is what you all said Mr. Boaka's expertise was in. Agriculture. You said he was an agricultural minister and that he was going to bring agriculture to Liberia. We're going to grow our own rice. We're going to grow our own crops. We're going to feed ourselves. Then we got these yellow machines in the country. Today, the yellow machines are sitting down somewhere doing something nobody knows. They're not being used for agriculture. They're not being used on the roads. And so, the Unity Party has to do something much better to show Liberians. And just like Mr. Cummings said, we do not have to live like this. We can do much better. This is not about politics. To me, it could have been Mr. Cummings. It could have been Mr. Gonglo. It could have been Mr. Ability, it could have been Mr. Moneyball. I wanted to see whoever was the best to change the country. It could have been Mr. Weah. In fact, out of all of them, I met Mr. Weah most because I used to live on Staten Island and he used to go there a lot. His sister used to live there. His sister was very nice to me. She was very nice to me. So I actually know him more than I know the rest. But I'm looking at who can fix the country, who can build the economy, who can bring jobs, who can fix the rule of law. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at who I know better. I'm not looking at who's Gribble, who's Pele, who I know, who I can get job from, who's popular. I'm looking at who has integrity, who has a plan, who when I read their plan, it makes sense, and who can speak like they have a plan, who can talk like they have a plan, who can articulate to me that they know what they're talking about. So, Brother Donzo, I respect you. I respect your opinion. Yes, I think CDC, the ANC, the TMC, Line, all of these groups need to come together because we do need to change the way this government is working. This government is not working for the people. I do agree with you. But you have to also respect my opinion that during the CDC administration, not much change for the Liberian people. There were some mistakes made, and even Mr. Len Eugene Nyangbi, who appeared on Spoon TV, said the same thing, that yes, there were some missed opportunities. Things could have been done differently. He didn't want to go into the detail of it because, of course, he doesn't want to give anybody any kind of ammunition to go after him. But he admitted too. And that's why people decided to vote for change, for rescue. The problem is, there's not been rescue. Liberians have not been rescued. They're just getting more worse. Even worse. There's a front page Africa article that came out. This story has not even been publicized much in the news. One of the largest sex trafficking, human trafficking compounds was discovered. And the vice president's security went into the compound before the vice president moved in the neighborhood, inspected the compound, and never reported them. It wasn't until later the security went back because the people were yelling so much that they opened the gates and some of the people ran out. 57 people. And still, the vice president's security did not report this to the police. This is not rule of law. And there's been no investigation into why the vice president's security will go somewhere and see people being human trafficked. They were beaten, tortured, women were raped because they were tricked into thinking they were going to get jobs in Canada and Australia. 57 people. It's on trial now. And the defendant in the case testified that the vice president's detail walked in the compound, walked around, and never reported them to the police. And the victims testify that the vice president's security came back, walked through, and opened the gates, and that's how they were able to get out. So I don't know why it was never reported to the police, but these are some of the things that are happening in the country. Drug trafficking, human trafficking. And these are some of the things that we want to change. It's not about the personalities. It's about who has the skill and the ability to fix the problem. So we have to put politics aside. We have to put personality aside, popularity aside, and just look at the policies of the people. Here I can tell you all the policies of Mr. Cummings. I cannot tell you the policies of the CDC. I cannot tell you the policies of the Unity Party. Has the Unity Party taken away harmonization yet? No. The volunteer teachers, are they getting paid yet? No. Have they renegotiated concessions? No. Have they brought mechanized agriculture in the country? No. Have they fixed the sanitation in the country? No. Have they fixed rule of law? No. Are they building roads? Yeah, they're building some roads. They're building some roads, yeah. Is that enough? No. It's not enough. So one of the callers said that they don't know why the police and the LDA is not speaking. I don't know either. It's very suspicious because usually you would see especially the IG will come out with his press release or his stand in front of the podium and give a press statement. You know, nothing, not a word. I haven't heard from him since this whole thing started. It's very suspicious. Very suspicious. And the LDEA boss, we're looking for him too. We're looking for him too. But there are some people that are not speaking on this at all. And, you know, we just want to follow the evidence. I think an independent investigation is the best way to go. So, folks, we'll be back. Join us on Facebook, LIB Future TV. Subscribe to our page. Also, follow us on YouTube. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for following the show. We always look to having a better, brighter future for Liberia. That's what we want. We want to see a better, brighter future for the country. So thank you, and I will see you soon. I think I'll be back on Friday. So Jefferson?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yep, you can take us out.
Okay. Folks, you just listen to
LIB, stand up.
LIB Future TV, giving voice to progressive Liberians, speaking about politics, entertainment, and local news.